Hey everybody, this is Daryl with Motivation Through Recovery. Listen, I want to talk to you today about substance use disorder and the recovery first aid you can apply to help overcome that substance use. But in order to understand how this all works, you got to first take a look at what causes substance use. I'm going to just name a few. One of the biggest ones is peer pressure. People start seeing other people using in the surroundings or the friends they keep, and maybe you start getting curious, or maybe they start trying to coerce you to actually try that addiction or try that drug or try that alcohol. You try it, then all of a sudden you become wanting more of it, then it becomes a full-blown addiction in your life. What about family dynamic? Family history of addiction is something that's really on the rise. We're starting to see more and more people being born into families where both mother and father are both using, or the mother was using while they were carrying their child and is now being born into their system, whether it's through their bloodstream, their DNA, whatever it may be. What about chronic pain? A lot of people who are experiencing chronic pain, and the pain has become so much that the prescribed painkillers that they are on are not working, so they're turning to alternative and street drugs because it's easier to get, it's more affordable, and it seems to keep them more in an addictive behavior. What about loss or divorce? Going through something of that kind of tragedy, that kind of trauma can be enough to make people seek comfort. So they start seeking it in other areas, so being addicted by drugs, alcohol, just to be able to comfort the pain that they're currently experiencing from that emotional issue. And then the one I think that's more bigger than all of them, in my personal opinion, is one we just walked out of not too long ago, and that's the pandemic. The COVID-19 pandemic was worldwide, and in that process, we saw a spike, maybe it's not even a spike, but a rise of drug addiction in our cultures. Drug addiction rose up over 500% because people were no longer being held accountable. Meetings were no longer available. People started isolating and start getting into their own head and start getting into their own thinking and getting into using more and more drugs, alcohol, and things of that nature. So how do we combat this? How do we overcome the substance use disorder? Well, the best way to do it is what I like to call recovery first aid. So what does recovery first aid look like? Well, it looks like this. Number one, you want to surround yourself with good and supportive people. Whether they're in AA groups, NA groups, support groups of some kind, surround yourself with good people who are sober and working their recovery. That's going to help you stay accountable. That's going to help you stay around people who are going in the right direction that you desire. What about exercise? Exercise is a very good way to combat substance use disorder. Why? Because what it does is two things. One, it gets you in better health. The second thing it does, it retrains your body on how to do better routines, or how to have better routines in your life. What about volunteering, helping other people? Volunteering and helping other people is huge. One of the things I tell people on a regular basis who are in recovery is that you need to be able to reach out to someone else and help them. Listen, if you want to get out of your mess fast enough, help somebody else get out of theirs. And you will find that you will get the strength and the desire to come out of yours. Be able to reach out and help somebody who is in need right now. Somebody who may be worse off than you and just needs to have that support and encouragement, the same kind of support and encouragement that somebody came alongside you and helped you with. What about eating well? Okay, training your body to eat well leads to desire of more healthy things. So when you change your diet, you begin to change your desires. What about talking it out? I can't stress this enough. People need to take time out to talk it out, to work it out. Play the tape all the way through. Before you go make a possible destructive behavior decision, always talk it out. Ask yourself some questions. Based on what I'm getting ready to do right now, is this the best decision I can make? That's one of the greatest questions you can ever ask yourself when it comes to overcoming addiction. Based on the decision-making process I'm going to do right now, is this the best decision I can make today? I already know what it's cost me before in the past, so is this really the best decision I can make right now in this moment? And then the last thing I can't stress enough is this: seek professional help. Listen, if your addiction has got you to the point where your life is unmanageable and become out of control, make sure that you go and find help. Whether it's through a treatment center, through a counselor, maybe it's through a clergy member, but seek out that help. Get somebody that you can get before talk to, tell them what's going on, and then ask them to help you, guide you to get the right help you need in order to deal with that substance abuse disorder. I'm Daryl with Motivation Through Recovery. Remember, you are somebody and you do